Almost every American hits the same year when they try to trace their family history. And for millions of families, that's where everything just disappears. Not 1776, not 1620, 1870. No records, no names, just nothing. And once you see why, you won't look at your family history the same way again. Last year, millions of Americans tried to map their ancestry. They uploaded DNA. They searched archives. They paid for access to databases that promised answers. They expected to find something deeper. Older names, earlier generations, a clear line back in time. Instead, they all found the same thing, a gap no one could explain. In 1870, something changes. Millions of people suddenly appear in American records. Before that, they had no names in the system. Not missing, not lost, never written down. Then, in one moment, they exist. With names, with families, with histories that seem to begin out of nowhere. And from that point on, everything looks complete. But try to go one step further back, and it all breaks again. Now, look at something else. For most Americans born before 1900, there is no official birth record, no certificate, no document, no proof they were ever recorded at all. Entire generations exist without a formal beginning. When the government later asked people to prove when they were born, millions could not. They had to reconstruct their own existence. From memory, from family Bibles, from anything that survived. And if nothing survived, there was nothing to prove. And then you start seeing something else. Entire counties where the records are just gone. Courthouses burned down. Archives destroyed. Documents reduced to ash, not once, again and again. The same place is losing the same types of records. Birth records, marriage records, land ownership, everything that connects people to their past. Some counties lost everything. Others lost records more than once, years apart. Different fires, same result. And every time the paper trail breaks in the same way. Now, go even further back. If your ancestors came to America before 1820, there is a good chance they were never recorded arriving at all. No passenger lists, no official entry, no trace of how they got there. Millions of people who built the country left no record of their arrival. So, what does all of this actually mean? It means the point where so many Americans stop when tracing their family history is not caused by one missing record. It is the result of several breaks happening at the same time. Before 1870, millions of people were never recorded by name in federal records. Before 1820, many arrivals were never officially documented. Before the early 1900s, births were often not recorded at all. And at the same time, local records were lost, destroyed, or never preserved. So when you try to go further back, you are not facing one problem. You are facing a system that was never designed to keep a complete history for everyone. That is the real explanation. Not that your past suddenly disappears, and not that your family came from nowhere, but that millions of ordinary lives were never documented in the way we expect today. And when records finally became important, many were already gone. Never created, never copied, never protected, or never connected to a real name in the first place. That is why so many family histories seem to stop around the same point. Not because those people had no past, and not because their story ends there, but because that is where the written record breaks. And beyond that point, history becomes harder to trace, harder to prove, and easier to lose. But it is still there. Your family existed before the documents. Their lives were real before they were recorded. And sometimes the only thing that survives is memory. Stories passed down. Names remembered imperfectly. Places described differently from how they appear on a map. So if your history seems to disappear at that point, it does not mean your story ends there. It means the archive does. And everything beyond that depends on what people chose to remember. So here is the question. How far back can you trace your family history? How long is your family line? Write in the comments. We are really curious to see. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you want more stories like this.